Okay, so today I want to share with you the secret to subordinate respect. At some point in your lives, if you are successful, you will find yourselves supervising other human beings. And I hate to tell you, that's not a positive thing. Once you get into it and you figure out what that's all about, you'll know that you'd rather not be responsible for people than to be responsible for them. But you're going to end up in this situation, so here's what you need to understand. Do you think your subordinates will respect you because of your fine Missouri State University education? No. Do you think they'll even respect you because of your job title? No. So I was 25 years old when I got my first responsibility for subordinates. And the guy that hired me into that role was someone I'd worked for previously. And he reminded me of a cross between Bill Clinton and a Labrador Retriever. You know, the best qualities of both. So he's a very, very kind, gentle man. I had no idea that he had things like this in his head. He calls me in one day, this is about 2 weeks into my stint as a supervisor. And he says, "So how's it going?" I said, "It's going fine." And he says, asked me a couple more questions. And he says, "Well, you know what you need to do?" And I said, "No." He says, "You need to fire someone." I said, "What?" He said, "You need to fire someone." I said, "Who?" He said, "I don't know." I said, "What are you telling me?" He says, "Hey, every group you've ever worked in, hasn't there been at least one person that needed to be fired?" Does that ring true to you guys? Every group you've ever worked in. And if you've never had a job, if you've been on a team with people, there's always a slacker who deserves it. He said, "You need to find that person and fire them." And I said, "Why?" He said, "You're 25 years old." He said, "Your workers are on average 45 years old. These people will never respect you, but at least they can fear you." Do you understand how this works? Pretty sad, isn't it? But this is how humans, by the way, we're just animals, right? The Chinese have an expression, "Kill a chicken to scare the monkeys." They'll take one person and make an example of them, not because they're necessarily wanting to punish that one person, but because of what the message they're trying to send to everybody else. Now here's the end of my story. I went out and found my volunteer. He volunteered for this firing pretty quickly. And I fired him. Before I fired him, I had 26 people making 26 valves per month. So it was one valve per person per month, basically. After I fired him, I only had 25 people, but my production jumped to 31 valves per month. There's a couple of reasons for that. Do you think slackers might have pulled their socks up a bit after seeing what I did his name was Jimmy, after seeing what I did to Jimmy? Yeah. But the other thing is this, you've got decent people in your group who feel stupid for doing a good job because they see Jimmy doing a bad job and they realize there's no reward for doing a good job. And so they feel stupid. And so after you fire Jimmy, suddenly they don't have to feel stupid anymore and their productivity improves.